I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Hello and welcome to the CNY Business Connection. I'm Jason Weinstein. Coming up on this week's show, the do's and don'ts of internet marketing, plus why some educators are giving the state an F when it comes to its new approach toward education. But we'll begin with the latest in business news from around the area.
Area communities saw a decline in the unemployment rate in April, according to the New York Department of Labor. The Binghamton, Syracuse, and Utica-Rome regions all saw their unemployment rates drop from March's levels, but one area actually saw its rates increase from what it was a year ago. In Binghamton, the unemployment rate was 7.8%, down from 8.4% in March and from 8.5% last April. The unemployment rate in Syracuse was 7.6%, down from 8.3% in March and 8.3% a year ago. In the Utica-Rome area, the rate was 7.9%, down from 8.6% in March, but up from 7.7% a year ago.
I pretty much anticipate that to be along those lines, and as the budgets have been voted on, and almost all of them have been approved, and a large portion of them had cuts.
A majority of voters give Governor Cuomo a passing grade when it comes to his efforts to improve the state's economy. According to a new Siena poll, 44% of voters give Cuomo an A or a B, 37% give him a C, and 14% fail him or give him a D. Nearly half of voters say they believe the economy will be better a year from now. Paying higher gas prices may slow New York's fragile economic recovery, according to a new report from New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli. The rising cost of oil has driven up food, transportation, and heating costs for consumers, businesses, and government agencies. The price of oil has tripled to over $100 per barrel since hitting a $30 per barrel low in December 2008. DiNapoli's report estimated that the average cost of driving a car in New York totaled more than $1,600 during the April 1, 2010 to March 31, 2011 period. The figure is nearly $300 higher than the prior 12-month period. In addition, the report said if current prices are maintained over the next 12 months, the cost of driving a car could increase by another $500 to more than $2,100. A different sort of graduation. 19 unemployed veterans have completed the Overbuilt Home Improvement Veteran Residential Construction Workshop. It was a first of its kind, a 2-week program that provided veterans with hands-on experience to widen their skills for the job market.
You know, these guys have gone overseas and supported the country, but when they come home, they have to be able to support their family. So we're trying to help them by getting them enough experience so they can go out and get good jobs.
The veterans built 2 sheds that will be raffled off for the Wounded Warrior Project on July 4th. The hope is to raise $10,000.
June 1st, the hayfields here on Bill Olin's farm in Nineveh are finally dry enough to drive on, but still so wet that the hay is a little damp. That's okay when it's chopped into haylage. The problem is protein.
It's not going to be as good quality as it should have been if we had gotten it on the 18th or 20th of May.
At its peak 2 weeks ago, this grass was 24% protein, now just 16%.
That inferior haylage won't make it to the cows until fall, and that's also when the economic impact will kick in. Less protein in the grass means more protein will have to come from someplace else, and those protein sources are more expensive than ever.
Soy meal, for instance, at more than $500 a ton. Cows also need calories, most coming from corn, which is also way behind schedule, also because of waterlogged fields.
At this point, we're hoping for a late fall, because once corn gets a hard frost, a freeze, it's done growing, and whatever stage it's at that point, that's about the best it's going to get.
Buying corn to make up for a poor harvest would drive costs even higher.
It's going to cost us extra money to make the same amount of milk. And actually, you probably aren't going to make quite the same amount of milk.
If the milk supply is depressed, it could set the stage for higher prices, and therefore a way to recover those extra feed expenses.
Time now for a break, but when we come back, why some educators are giving the state an F when it comes to its approach toward education.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
Welcome back. New thinking and new economic realities have the state approaching education a bit differently. Why some educators say that's not necessarily a good thing.
It's bad for schools, it's bad for students, it's bad for teachers, it's bad all the way around.
Catherine Klein is talking about last week's passage of New York's new teacher and principal evaluation system. The Board of Regents had negotiated the new system with NYSUT, but after a letter from the governor, the board approved the new system without NYSUT's input. Now 40% of a teacher's evaluation will rely on how well students do on the Regents exams, putting a lot of pressure on how teachers prepare their students for a single test.
I think they're going to be stressful.
Yeah, everyone's going to be stressed.
Yes.
And that stress runs the risk of changing how teachers interact with their students.
If you've got a student with learning disability and they want to take that really hard science class because they love this hands-on stuff and they want to be involved, now you're going to hesitate to have them in the class because you already knew that maybe they weren't going to do well on the Regents.
The system is approved, but it's not finalized, with recommendations from superintendents like Joseph Stoner, who was on the task force for New York State Council of Superintendents. The state education department must write the regulations by July 1st. But with school receiving less money from the state, Stoner believes the new system is more of a Band-Aid on what the governor believes is a broken system, rather than a change in policy.
If there really truly was a change in policy, I think they would really consider putting more funding into education instead of going the other way around.
Time now for a bit of business wisdom from someone who has lived it, thanks to our friends at Prendismo.com, partnering with entrepreneurs for success.
I want to be an entrepreneur, okay, and I want to work in a big company. You know, is that mutually exclusive? It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. The beauty of big companies is there are a lot of places to go. At Dow, I don't know what the average is, but I think people have had on average, 7 or 8 different jobs, and really different jobs in their careers. So I've been in central research, blue sky research. I've done tech service and development. I've started up a business. I've been in EH&S. You know, that's not atypical in a company like Dow. So I think there are opportunities to show off your entrepreneurial skills. But there is also some challenges too. You know, in our company, we have a Dow Ventures group. You know, it's a separate standalone group that's looking at new business opportunities, not necessarily tied to our current businesses. And that's an area where, you know, we would be doing some hiring. We're looking at individuals with entrepreneurial skills who can make quick decisions, assess businesses quickly for viability, that kind of thing.
We hope you enjoyed that. When we come back, the do's and don'ts of internet marketing.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
Welcome back. It's a question many business owners would love to answer: how to scour the World Wide Web to bring customers to your door. Well, Lynn Harrison from Swordstain Studios has some tips for you, some do's and don'ts of internet marketing.
To know what works and what doesn't work on the internet for marketing, how to present things on the website to get the effect that you want. Many people do not have a call to action on their website. They have a brochure website where they provide information about what they do, but they don't really ask their visitors to do anything, whether it's to visit their store, click here for more information, join this mailing list for a newsletter. You need to provide some call to action to your visitor to ask them, what would you like them to do? An example, a very important example, and it's touched to in a later point, is what's called an opt-in list, to basically collect the contact information of your visitors so that you can build a relationship with them. The biggest thing is to be shown to be providing value to the visitors. You know, if it's collecting information and they don't see a value to themselves to provide it, then there's no incentive. Most people, when they're purchasing anything, whether it's online or offline, it takes multiple exposures to information before they can make a decision. By collecting the contact information, typically the email address from a visitor, you can communicate with them, provide them additional value, build a rapport and a relationship with that customer, and they'll have a greater tendency to come to you to purchase your products. There are services out there. One of the ones that's been advertising heavily in this area lately is a company called Constant Contact. There's also several others out there that they provide a service that you can use on your website to manage email addresses so they don't violate the federal anti-spam regulation, what's called the CAN-SPAM Act. There is an important feature called search engine optimization. It's basically adding information to your website so that the search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, they know what you're offering. By providing that extra information, you will rank in their searches, so when someone searches for your keywords, what you're offering, you'll show up in the search results. Within a website, there are what's called meta tags. It's getting somewhat technical. One is a title, and you want your keywords to show up in the title. There's also a description. The keywords should also show up there. When someone does a search, what you see on the search results page is your title and that description. So you really want to convey it in a human readable form that will attract the people once they've found you in the search, as well as let the search engine know that this is what you're providing. Print media, you don't know how many people actually saw your ad. With the internet, thanks to Google, you can add what's called Google Analytics to any web page. And they will track statistics for you as to how many people visited that page each day, what part of the world they're visiting from, how long they spent on the web page, so that you can gauge the effectiveness of your marketing. Basically, you look at it and see if someone's going to let's say it's a sales page where you're actually trying to sell a product, and you see that people are only spending 10-15 seconds on the site and then clicking off. You know that there's something on that page that is turning visitors off, and you can start reworking the page one item at a time and then track the statistics until you're seeing the reaction that you're expecting.
Our thanks to Lynn for that. And that does it for this episode of the CNY Business Connection. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jason Weinstein. Have a good one.